Well, good morning, friends. I hope you're doing all right. And I trust that you are either enjoying your Saturday night or waking up very early on Sunday morning to join me. Oh boy. Hey, let's go. YouTube Punk, good morning. The notifications are working, I take it, from that. Well, good morning from Amsterdam to Texas, that is. I hope you're doing all right. And thanks for being the first here and dropping by and saying hi. I appreciate that, and I hope that you're doing well and that you've enjoyed your Saturday. By the way, let me know if you got all of that what I said just before. I'm never quite sure when the stream actually starts because it always turns on a bit later on my laptop. But thanks for being the first here for dropping by. And like I said, I'm assuming the notifications are working this morning. For those of you who are watching, my name is Toby, and I train for living a long, healthy, self-sufficient, and active life. I'm sorry, it is 5:29 in the morning, so my brain still needs to fire up a little bit. And in order to do that, I mind what I eat, how much I sleep, and how much I move. And a part of that is also exercising, weight resistance training, conditioning training, and mobility. This morning I am going for a run and I'm going to do my one pull-up, two push-ups for 11 minutes today. If I can get my hands on a pull-up station at the gym, otherwise I have to go somewhere else. So I'm taking it easy with the kettlebells this morning. I'm going to do some deadlifts and some squats, and that's going to be it. Nothing too fancy, but first we're going to do some mobility because we can always do mobility. This is all about the way I feel, not all about the way I look. Even though the nice side effect of working out every day is that you start to look different, you start to feel different. And I think anyone who's on this journey should keep in mind something that I've learned, which is that we're good just the way we are. It's the person we are today who's going to get us to be where we want to be tomorrow. Um, we've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I'm going to read these messages and then we're going to get started. Um, let's go. It cut off a little, but not much. All right, thanks for letting me know. So next time I know I'm just going to wait for 10 seconds before I actually start talking, rambling anyway. How's life? Are you doing all right? Doing anything on Saturday night or just chilling? Yeah, let me know while I get started. And for everyone else, we're just going to start with some easy and simple mobility. And then we're going to take it from there. By the way, for shorts, I was putting together a compilation of the last 9 months, and I realized how many days and how much work I'd actually been doing and how many ups and downs we've had throughout the year. That was pretty nice to see. And to look back, I pick like the first video from every month to kind of see how far I'd come. So I'm just breathing now and letting the diaphragm push everything down and out, filling up the entire cavity. So anyway, like I was saying, looking back, and a lot's happened in a year. Working on the neck. Looking at those first full body weight workouts, maybe I need to reintroduce some of that for variety's sake. That's actually how I also got started to build a bit of a conditioning base to beginning to add runs and weights to all of the kettlebell swings that we're doing. W, and we're just hitchhiking. Feel something is popping. Just really working on that mobility of the upper spine, upper back. But you'll see the short. I actually think I'll download a whole bunch of those videos and turn them into a longer form looking back of the year. A lot happened. What can I say? I'm going to read your message in a moment, by the way. Okay, so here we're just raising our arms up and trying to pick the apple from the tree. Think Charlie exhale. And then this morning, this is not a great time for running right now because a lot of people are very nice. Very nice. Good. That sounds like a good way to spend a Saturday. Like I was saying, right now, there are quite a few people returning home from a night out, and that makes the streets, I don't want to say busy, but there's just some types of folk about that I would rather avoid on my morning run. Looking back at the original videos, actually, it's funny to see that I started off really just wanting to work on my mobility, doing a little bit of HIIT to lose some weight. So, also for me, the starting point and the end point shouldn't necessarily are the same, because I thought that was actually going to help me reach my goals. And I think already then I was really reading up on longevity and what it was going to take. But It was just interesting to see the evolution that I had also somewhat forgotten. In my mind, I'd just been swinging kettlebells for 9 months. So, be mindful for yourself that over the course of a year, little changes can have big impact. On your general health and conditioning. So do a little bit of work on the wrists. Have you ever traveled overseas or made any plans to, or are you going to? Or would you like to? There's a lot to see in America and the Americas overall. I think there's also a lot to see and visit in Europe. I'd like to spend some more time in the States, maybe when the kids are a bit older. As I remember going to America when I was 11 or 12 years old for the first time. And there are some sites like Yellowstone, Half Moon Dome, I think it's called, San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. We did Disneyland and Universal Studios. This was 1990, I think 1993, 1994. So, anyway, it was a great experience as a kid, traveling. In that case, overseas in your direction. We visited Oregon also, I think, on that trip. My aunt used to live there. It's pretty amazing. It's quite an amazing place. I'm going to come over and read those messages. So, looking back on life, I think in all of the ups and downs of my life, so to speak, I can say that that was a good memory with the family. A very happy one, for me at least. Hey, so since it's Sunday, by the way, if you're watching, and we're not just here for our physical health and fitness, even though that is an important part of the entire equation, because we're healthy and we're able to take better care of ourselves. But we've also discussed, some of the enablers, life circumstances that can help us reach or maybe hinder us from accomplishing the goals we want to accomplish. England, Canada, Mexico. Oh, wow. Yeah, those shopping bags, right? It's the same with suitcases when we travel with the family. Ever since I started working out with kettlebells, it's become a lot easier. Witness, I remember you too. You've been here before. Thanks for dropping by and commenting again. I appreciate that, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. Would love to see Portugal. Portugal's great. That's actually, if you go back on my channel around December, January, we were in Portugal, where I kind of had the idea to start doing all of this. Beautiful coasts, places to see, great climate. Go vacation, extended life circumstances. Vacations. Yeah, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. And besides, big vacations are costly and expensive, especially if you have to cross the Atlantic. But worth striving for and looking forward to. Maybe at one point in life it becomes possible, or something you can do. Teachers, always have to respect teachers. They work really hard and they do some of the most important work in our society, even though we don't always recognize the fact that they do. But so like I was saying, we can look at our health first and foremost. If you've been on my channel before, then you know that one of the things that I have and do weekly is just check in on my life by taking a couple of steps. First, looking at my health. Am I physically healthy, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? And I put financial health in that bucket as well. Just overall, is there enough financial stability and security I feel in my life at the moment? And if the answer to all of that is yes, which it usually is at the moment, because I'm fortunate enough to have had a good job for 10 plus years, and we live in the Netherlands where employees are relatively well secure, My wife has a good paying job also. We're both healthy. The kids are healthy. And then the conversation can shift to my relationships. And my relationships really are about my relationships with my loved ones. Have I spent enough time with my wife and children, with my parents, with my best friends, people that I want to connect with? Am I a part of any communities like my neighborhood? Do I see and talk to my neighbors? Well, we're actually going out for drinks coming Friday. So I think you don't have to see them every day, but whenever we bump into each other, is that to be pleasant conversation? Not? Are we on the same page about the state of the neighborhood, about life? How are things doing? How are they doing? Those kinds of questions, because being a part of a community is also important in having a fulfilled life. So loved ones, family, friends, community, and also at work. Like work is a community in that sense. And we just do want to do a check-in. I don't have a counterbalancing weight, so I'm just going to do it like this. I can tell you 9 months ago I wouldn't have been able to just sit in a deep squat like this so comfortably. So community, colleagues at work, if that's the case, then just go on to finances. And in terms of finances, most important is income, but income relative to the cost of living where I'm at. What I mean by that is that if the baseline of living, the house prices, mortgage, rent, groceries, travel to and from work, other things are more than 100% of my budget, right, or more than 50 or 60% of my budget, it becomes a problem if every month I do have a fixed income, stable income, which is what we're striving for, but at the end of that, there's nothing left because of where I live. The costs of living are too high for whatever reason. There's an imbalance there. So that's one, right? And then from there we go into savings. How much money have I saved up? How much money am I able to save? I'm no financial advisor, but from my income, I at least try to put aside 10% every month, and preferably actually a bit more. So 1/10 off before anything else is spent. The reason for that is very simple, is that we should be able to get by on 90% of our income, and there will be many years, maybe 20 years, that we won't be working. So it's not just savings, but also investments. So if you really look at it, about my income, then a part of that is saved for immediate future expenses like holidays, things like that. And a part of that is put aside into the future, investments for my pension. That's how I approach it. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. Just want to be mindful about what I do with my money in life. Right, we're done with the mobility portion, by the way. Now we're going to go on to the strength part. We're going to do some deadlifts and some squats. So beware that's going to happen. We're going to do that. Timer, 40 kilos. I'm just going to do a couple of sets. Nothing outlandish or crazy. Put in a bit of extra work before the run. Feeling in the hamstrings, neutral spine. Look a bit surprised. Hook grip. Brace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. We're going to nicely combine that with some 32 kilo front racked squats. And after that, take a little break, have a cup of coffee, finish editing that short, and then I'm going to go on a little run. So 32 kilos for the win. Let's see. Something in my back is telling me to be careful. So let's take that serious. Let's see if the deadlifts do or do not hurt. Because again, one of the core points of what we're trying to do is to not get injured. Because when we're injured, we can't train properly. Neutral spine, core, surprised, hamstrings, thrust. That's all right. I'd like to know what it is, but we'll find out over time. So anyway, when we've checked in on that part of our lives, right? Which is an important part of our lives, I think, for everyone. Then we get to look at the opportunities we have. This could be the opportunity of education, or the opportunity of a vocation, or the opportunity of a pursuit. I am fortunate enough to enjoy creative writing. And I think it's a worthwhile pursuit, the organization of thoughts, the telling of stories, having time to invest in those kinds of things. It's important. Hey, poor man at the gym. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? I hope you're doing all right. Thanks for dropping by. Just actually almost finished that today. Just doing some deadlifts, squats, and then I'm going to edit a video before I go out for a run. Place where I want to do my pull-ups and just check in. Opens at 8, so I'm timing my run around their opening time. I think what it could be is that yesterday I was playing with one of my kids who was about 20 kilos. And I lifted him up overhead. Maybe shouldn't have done that, but hey, we're playing. Routines. So the running routines. Exactly. You did ask about that yesterday. What do you want to know exactly? Tell me. Maybe I can speak to you a little bit. Keeping in mind that I'm not a running trainer, but I can tell you what I've done and where my focus is. You injured? Just curious. Fist here lately? No, I'm not injured. Not at all. But you know, when you move, sometimes you feel little things throughout your body. I think I'm just hyper tuned to it because I don't want to get injured. So I'm very mindful about if a movement is painful, hurting me and like really sharp pains, and the pain doesn't go away in between sets or gets worse. That's like a signal to stop. But if that's not the case, I witness. And if it's just a slight discomfort that doesn't shoot out or spike, that's just there, I'm aware of it and I monitor it. And I don't mind it too much, if that makes sense. And poor man's gym, been running with a weighted vest lately. I need more. I was just curious about slightly. So, for me, running is a part of the full picture, right? It's a great question. Thanks for asking. Let's see if I can get into this while I'm squatting. Otherwise, finish the set and I'll tell you where I stand on it. So, running is part of the bigger picture for me. I got back into it because of Zone 2 training. I don't like biking. I enjoy walking, but biking is very good for steady state cardio. Walking, you can't get your heart rate up high enough consistently, at least not in a nice way. Like, I like to enjoy the walk, not be walking for speed. So running came back up. And I try to keep my heart rate in Zone 2. So that's what, 50, 60%, 60, 55, 65% my max heart rate, or to the point where I can still carry on a conversation. And I try to do that for an extended period of time. It's really a mental game more than a physical game at this point, to pace myself. The nice part about that is that in terms of running, what that does is it builds the base, as I've understood it, of my cardiovascular ability. So 30 minutes turns into 45, turns into 90 over time, even though I don't like to do 90 minutes of straight running, so usually 45 minutes to an hour, once a week. But having that base together with HIIT training and kettlebell swings specifically, the every minute on the minute schedule, that has given me an aerobic base for all the training that I'm doing. I can alternate that, so if I decide for a period I'm going to go out running twice a week, I'll do Zone 2, and then I'll do 20 to 30 minutes, 1 minute at speed, 1 minute rest, 1 minute at speed, 1 minute rest, so blocks of 2 minutes. And again, like, that is challenging myself to recover quickly, to put high levels of output, so to really spike my heart rate, almost like it's an interval training, to build the capacity of my body. But you do the same, or I feel I do the same more or less with the kettlebells as well. So it fits in once a week, maybe twice a week if I would cut something else out, but not more for me. I've thought about doing it with weighted vests, but haven't yet, because I haven't put out the money for a proper weighted vest yet. But that is on my mind. But I was also thinking more about walking with a weighted vest. So those are the two running schedules that I do. I do a running clinic to get my technique checked, just to make sure that I'm running well, not going to injure myself. And I wouldn't program anything else on the day itself, because I think one proper bout of working out a day is more than enough. I hope that helps. Does that answer your question? Stamina. Yeah, you're welcome. But that's my approach, and that's how I understand it. I think there are, like, if you listen to the Norwegian biathletes and God knows what, or Peter Attia and other people, there are all kinds of explanations on what kind of cardio exercise is the best. I tend to subscribe to the idea: move frequently, move a lot, and move in varied ways. I think that will get us furthest. Which is why I love the kettlebells, because they allow me to do a variety of exercises. Sorry. Bad joke. I am a dad. Final set of squats, friends. And then we're going to call it a day. So remember, maybe to frame that a bit better, my overall goal is to be active, healthy, self-sufficient when I'm 100. So if I add or subtract something from my training program, I evaluate it in line with that goal. Running zone 2, broad base of cardio, strength training, muscle volume, muscle strength, diet, hours of sleep. It all needs to fit that. If you have different goals, and it could be any kind of goals, right? It could be a competition that you want to participate in, could be an aesthetic goal, could be a powerlifting goal, could be a martial arts goal, whatever it is, could be a different life goal, could be weight loss. There are different ways to get there, and there are different ways to get there for everyone. There are certain laws, physics that we all are subject to, but within those laws, different techniques, different methods work for different people. And I just thought maybe that nuance will help. I started off jump rope. If you go back to my earlier videos, I did jump rope 30 seconds, push-ups 30 seconds, jump rope 30 seconds, squats 30 seconds. I built a lot of foundations with those kinds of exercises. And since I'm overweight, I'm not gonna run, my own ruck. Well, that's true at the moment, right, YouTube punk. And I think the self-awareness is great, because I think running when we're overweight taxes our joints and actually doesn't give us the health benefits we want, like walking, minding what we eat, and just generally moving more are more effective ways to get healthy or work on our health goals, because I can't say if anyone's healthy or unhealthy. So that's I think that's a brilliant insight, and thanks for putting that out there also. That's it, friends, for today. Like, I'm done. I'm going to have a cup of coffee, finish some edits, and then in a bit go for a run in about 45 minutes. No video, no live stream, no microphone there. But I do want to thank you all for dropping by, chatting, being on the chat, saying hi. YouTube Bunk, thank you for being the first in this morning. I hope all is well in Texas. I hope you're doing great over there, and that you're going to have a good Sunday, the rest of the Saturday evening, and a great Sunday tomorrow. Poor Man's Gym as well, thanks for dropping by. Eyewitness, thanks for saying hello. And like I always say, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. The only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I'll see you all Monday morning tomorrow for another stream. Take care, friends.